We've been fighting this fight for generations and we'll never stand down. They may try to erase our stories from classrooms and libraries, but we're here. We're here today at the White House.
My secret hope, even when we were shooting the pilot, that it might be helpful to some young girl out there
who have the power to change people. I meet people still who say, the L word helped me to come out. The L word helped me to talk to my family. You know, the legacy of the show is in part about making us a part of the popular entertainment culture.
10 years later, and we've come so far, and we now have this new generation who wants to define themselves, who isn't going to let somebody tell them what their gender identity is, what their sexual orientation should be. It's really exciting.
Stand up one more time and get it up for Jennifer, Ilene, and Swisher.
All right, there you go. Can you hear me? The problem is we're all tops, is the situation. And therefore we have it. So I am so thrilled to be here. Jennifer, Ilene and I were here just a little while ago, and we had a great dinner at Frances talking about the L word. We're in a group of things, and so we're back. And we're thrilled to be here with this group much more, I would have to say. Yeah. It's really great. So we're going to talk about a lot of things, including breaking some news here of things you guys are up to next.
Yeah.
I'd love to just sort of talk a little bit about the legacy of, I'm going to say the original L word, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Because I think that really was the groundbreaking show. You can have your opinions about the latest one, but I really do think at the time, I think it was both shocking to people and interesting and really broke a lot of boundaries. So I'd love each of you to sort of reflect on it. How many years later? What is it?
We went on the air in 2004. Is that right?
Don't look at me.
I think so.
So 20 years, 20 years. And Jennifer looks exactly the same.
Except for I now can't see.
Yeah,
so
yeah. When we were back here, we didn't know if there was going to be chairs here, and one of you was like, where's the chairs?
No, Grandma. I was like, are we going to stand for the whole
thing? So why don't you start, Jennifer, where you think it was and where we are?
Well, when I reflect on the beginning of the L word, like I came in as somebody, this very square heterosexual woman who really wasn't aware of the community so much. Like I lived in the East Village, and so I was like, oh, that girl looks so cool, I want to dress like that. But I didn't have really an awareness of the community, and through my participation in the show by playing Bet, I came into contact with so many amazing activists, so many people who were so dedicated to not only creating like a strong, powerful community, but standing up for their rights in all sectors of society. And I became aware of the power of storytelling. I remember, early on I had said to Ilene, I want to do this show for that girl who's in the middle of the country who may not have access to her tribe, who is being told that she's less than and is feeling ashamed of herself. And I want her to see herself reflected back, maybe not exactly, accurately, but in some sort of fantastical way. What is the word? Aspirational.
There you go.
Way. So I don't know if you would aspire always to be Bette Porter, for Frankie. And then, lo and behold, I would get these fan letters, and of people. And you had said at that time, well, let's make a good show first. Like, let's do that. Yeah. But I would get fan letters from people who were watching the show in secret, and how the show helped them come out, sometimes just even to themselves, and how it helped start to erase those other stories that they were being told about themselves, and it helped them create a new narrative that they could work for, that they could blossom through. And that was really, really gratifying. And then, of course, when social media came on the scene, you could see people having conversations with one another, and people would watch the show, certainly by themselves at home or in secret in the basement or whatever, but then there were communities coming together and watching it at bars or at other people's homes, and you could see the community start to grow and cohere around things that were being discussed in the show. It was exciting.
I don't recall ever asking this, but did you have a problem taking the role? Did your agents or anybody else?
No.
Can I answer that by telling you the story?
Go ahead.
So, when I was developing the L Word at Showtime, before it was ordered to production, the president of the network said to me, nobody's going to want to do this show. Actors will not play gay characters. And they had just made Queer as Folk, and it was the first gay show about gay life. And he said we couldn't cast any name actors. So he ordered the show to production, and he said to me, you're not going to get anybody whom anybody has ever heard of, because nobody is going to want to play a lesbian. And I said, lesbians are not the same as gay men. And and also, you may be right. I'm glad that you're willing to make the show with just, interesting actors. And he said, yeah, we won't spend a lot of money, but we'll do it. And I said, but I'm going to make you a bet right now. I'll bet we will get some people that you're kind of excited about. And the first person on my list, and the first person I met with, was Jennifer Beals.
Can you?
But
I get it, but why? Why did she pop up? And
Why was she on my list?
Yes.
Because she embodied, for obvious reasons.
Right.
But because she embodied my vision of Bette Porter, although once she became Bette Porter, that vision expanded exponentially. But strength, vulnerability, emotional power, intellect, all of these things which were so important to me to represent in this powerful lesbian character. I couldn't imagine anybody who could be all of those things or who was all of those things more than Jennifer Beals. When Jennifer said yes, that changed my world.
Because? Explain why.
I didn't think twice about it. Like, I was more concerned of, okay, how do I play somebody who knows so much about art? Like, okay, how do I figure out that piece of the puzzle? It wasn't until we got to a sex scene where I was like, hi, how do I? But then I just realized, like, love is love, and the scene is about connection. The scene is about intimacy, and how do you please your lover, and how do you, it's a scene like any other scene. Yeah. But, oh God,
how are you on art now?
I'm a little better. Okay. I'm a little bit better.
You're pretty damn good on art.
But I honestly didn't think twice about it.
Do you remember when we shot the first love scene and we had to go back and reshoot it?
Yes, yeah.
And you had to what?
We had to go back and reshoot it.
Because Showtime was like, more sex.
Too tasteful. Tasteful.
But
shot goes away to the sunset.
But then Laurel and I got together with Rose Trochet, who was shooting the pilot.
An amazing director.
An amazing director, an amazing human being. And we looked at the existing footage, and I thought, you know, they're not wrong. And they're not wrong, they're maybe wrong for their reasons, but they're not wrong for us and the story that we want to tell, because we have to make it so clear how connected these people are. And so Rose wanted us to present like love scenes that we thought, you know, we could maybe reference in terms of our common vocabulary around the scene. And I don't remember.
You're being very polite about it right now.
No. This is really what happened.
But I remember you coming to me and telling me I know what the scene should be.
Yeah, because I saw it with Billy Crudup and Jennifer Connelly. I think
Exactly.
it was. And I was like, oh, that was amazing. Let's do that.
Do you want to? Can I say it?
Yeah,
What
sure.
was
Go
the
ahead.
scene?
It was the first love scene between them and the first big love scene in the show. And as you gather, the first version we shot was too tepid. Jennifer said to me, we should both come at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that coming at the same time gets applause. Because that's how transformational it is. That's how divine it is, yeah.
Can I say, good notes.
Thanks. And in order to do that, it
Yeah.
was a Fellini kind of moment where there was a countdown, where Rose, who's like this, you know, is counting down from 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and then it was the, you know,
Yeah.
climax.
You know, usually behind-the-scenes stories are dull, but so when you think about that, as much as I don't want to move away from joint orgasms, when you think about how you evolved over time, the show, I mean, what do you think it evolved into over the time? Because it really was, there's several shows that are phenomenons, right? You know, you could pick maybe 10 that have really changed, like, I don't know, All in the Family, I guess. MASH, I would probably put up there. These days, Succession has been sort of an iconic cultural, even Yellowstone. Talk about what you think, why you think that happened, and what you think it represented.
Well, for me, what it evolved into was a community. And I think that was the most important thing for all of us about the show. I mean, I think all of those shows touched on a cultural zeitgeist, captured things that were happening in the world, things that haven't been spoken of in ways that were profound and incisive and in many ways unfiltered. And I think that we were pretty unfiltered in a lot of ways, but it became so much about community, about the interactions that we made and the way that we felt the world, and especially the LGBTQ plus world, responding and pushing and loving and hating everything we were doing and trying to say and trying to talk about.
I think that was important, the
It was.
criticism.
We welcomed it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it hurt.
Not always. I don't think always. Yeah.
What did you
I
think?
think it's always about community, and I know that word gets used so often, but you know, to see yourself reflected in a show, however imperfectly, is really meaningful and can be really transformational. That's why in our first meeting, when we first met, the only note that I had was I said, "Can Bet be biracial?" Because, like, I wanted to see.
Yeah. When you got the feedback from the show, I'd love you each to think about one thing that was fair and one thing that you're like, oh, stop it, you know.
Well, the feedback I got that was more intense than anything else was, Bet and Tina have to stay together.
Oh, wow.
I don't care what story you want to tell. This is our relationship, and you can't fuck it up.
And that was just me.
Jennifer said it too.
Yeah, that was my criticism.
I know.
What about you, Jennifer?
Pardon
When
me?
you got feedback and things like that.
You know me. I mean, you were the one trying to get me on Twitter. Like, I'm living in the woods, like, not paying attention to it very much. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I didn't really pay
You can
attention
get
to
off
that.
Twitter now.
Yeah,
Just so
yeah, I already did. Thanks.
Let's shift, because we've got something special coming up, but this is a tech conference, and obviously tech has changed everything for Hollywood. You're still on strike.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Eileen, you just went off strike, and there's elements of tech in it, but really it is about the changing economic system because of tech, because of streaming.
Very
and
much.
ultimately, residuals are over, television distribution is over. You came at a time when cable was strong. It made the show possible to be able to pay for it and be able to keep it going. Very lucrative for everybody for a long, long time and changed really drastically. I'd love each of you to talk about that. Jennifer, let's start with you because SAG is still on strike. How do you look at the impact of, this is an audience of tech people, how it's affecting your career right now?
Well, I don't think it's the tech that's affecting it. It's about, I had a friend of mine in Canada when the AMPTP went to the Canadian unions to offer them a deal, and I was, saying, please don't take it. And he said, well, I really feel like the train has left the station. And I said, listen, like a train is created by human beings. That train can not only be sent back to the station, but we can build a new train, a better train. Like, so it's not the tech itself. It's that the business model has changed, and therefore our contracts need to change in coherence with the change in the industry.
What do you think the most important part is from your perspective as a working actor?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things, and really at the end of the day, it's a labor issue in general, right? Like, we have to face it that so many of these leaders of multi-billion dollar corporations are rewarded for exploiting their workers, right? And so I think that a lot of people are watching to see if these companies can break the backs and the will of the workers, and I am here to say that our resolve will not be broken, period. So there's the overall labor issue. In terms of tech, I mean, residuals have to completely change for streaming. Like, it's insane. Like, I went away for a while, and I'm lucky because I've been in the business for a long time, so I can weather the storm, but a lot of people are hurting. 80% of our membership cannot make the $26,000 a year that they need to qualify for health care within the union. Like, that's insane. It's like the, a microcosm of the society at large. Like, the middle class is just disappearing. Certainly, to the point of tech, like AI is a really big issue. You can't, the AMPTP wants to go in and say for the background actors, which, make up a lot of our membership, that, we'll pay you a half a day's wage, we will garner your likeness and be able to use that likeness in perpetuity without compensating you. No. No.
What about you yourself? They could replicate Jennifer.
Not only they can replicate me, they can change, therefore, the scene, they can change the dialogue, and there's no talk about consent or compensation. That's not okay. I mean, AI may be great for certain things, but it doesn't work in that way.
The writer's strike just settled.
The writer's strike just settled. I won't talk about the deal. I won't talk about anything but the tech issue that we're discussing. After being at the Lesbians Who Tech Summit for one day, I feel better. and I feel better because of a lot of things that I heard yesterday, but I also heard a hopeful scenario that can't be a fantasy, that can't be let go. It was about how much better we would be if LGBTQ, queer, non-binary, trans folks, people who are marginalized, people of color, if we were in charge of the tech, as so many of you are. It's about how the tech is used. It's not inherently evil. Mm-hmm. I don't want to feel threatened. I want to feel that we're all in this together, using extraordinary tools that you all are creating to help us to do the work that we do and tell the stories that we do. And that's what it could be and should be. But it's going to take this group of people and this ethos to make that happen. Right now, it's largely in the hands of kind of evil geniuses.
Yeah.
And
they're not geniuses.
Okay, thank you.
If I may reflect. And actually, my entire book's about that. That's coming out. It's called Burn Book. I wouldn't say it's nice. It's not a nice thing.
Okay,
so we have something. You're doing something new. By the way, you can get off Twitter now. You're not really.
No, I'm not on Twitter.
Threads is okay, but you refuse to get in the self-driving car with the autonomous vehicle with me.
No, Grandma's not getting in the self-driving car.
You know who did get in the self-driving? I mean,
I applaud you.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah.
You're going to do it. We're going to have
I'm
such
not.
a good time.
No,
We're
I'm
going to
not.
drive around San Francisco.
But I only did it because Kara told me to, because I know Kara wouldn't tell me to do anything that would be.
Thank you, Eileen. Jennifer and I went to CES. She always ends up doing what I want anyway. We went to CES.
So not true.
We went to CES together and we pretended she was an eBay executive. We were walking around the floor.
I don't remember.
The Consumer Electronics Show, because you're a gadget. You like to.
Yeah, I love it.
And we walked
Because
around.
it's all storytelling,
and
really.
literally nobody there recognized her.
Well, because I was walking next to the Queen.
In any case,
It was like being with
she's
Celine
an
Dion
eBay
in
executive.
Vegas.
She's very much a geek. You know, she has a lot of money. They're like, oh yeah, okay. And it was very funny. But you're going to get in the car with me. But now we have something special. We thought we should not just to have these amazing women here, and by the way, give them a round of applause, but we wanted to bring out some friends of ours who could help us explain their next thing. Two people, well, I don't need to introduce them. Come on out, ladies. Where are they? Oh, where are they? Why don't they sit together? I haven't seen you in like. We're going down. Go that way? Yeah. I'll act like I know you. 7 minutes ago.
Hello.
Hi. We were just in the neighborhood and someone said come by, so we said sure.
How are we always together? It's like we watch.
You guys are always together. You have a
Always,
podcast. By
yeah.
the way, stop stealing my friggin' ideas and create. They have a podcast. Explain what you're doing right now.
Yeah, we have a podcast called Pants. Thank you, Pants.
And come on,
And-
sell yourself. Come on.
It's been going strong for close to 4 years.
Yeah, we talk about absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Like concrete and how slow it dries and things like that.
Leisha's garden and
But
So-
as you know,
But that's not why we're here.
Yeah,
I
no.
know, but I'm just saying,
not why we're
you should all listen to their podcast. It's great. It's called, I'm going to
Thanks,
sell
Kara.
for you, ladies. It's really wonderful, actually. They have a great rapport, and they really are very close friends in real life. All of you are. You're a team. And so you really are. It's really quite remarkable. And teams are important in tech. Their teams are important in a lot of things. Eileen, why don't you take off and explain what you're all doing?
well, as Kara just said, we've worked together now for a long time, and we've worked on many projects, and we find that we always want to work together, and we want to just tell stories and bring you stories. We're working on something right now that we're really excited about. It's not the L Word.
It's not a show.
It's not a show.
I know,
It's
they
not
were
a
all
show.
like, L Word, New
It's-
York.
like it's happening, right?
But it's something that we want to bring to all of you and let you in on a little bit. Not a TV show. TV shows may arise out of it because we are, after all, actors and writers and producers and storytellers. But we want to bring our community together in a new way.
Yeah.
So-
Well, it's a festival.
We're gonna do a festival.
We're gonna do a festival.
You like it?
So we have, yeah.
You're into it?
Right?
It's a little different than a TV show, but it's still good.
So why don't each of you explain? Let's start with Jennifer. What?
I'm so excited about it
Okay, tell me why.
because I'm a big Community fan.
Yes, you are. So
The
it's-
hermit likes community all of a sudden because I realized, oh my gosh, we need community to survive, and it's so great to be with groups of people and celebrate each other. So our mission is to create an intergenerational festival that unites the LGBTQ plus women, trans, non-binary communities through art and shared culture and joy. Like that's really the mission.
And music.
And go ahead. You talk about the
Music.
And fun.
Yeah. So, Leisha, why don't you talk about the music? Because
No, I'm a big advocate for getting really great bands. I'm like, we just want people to come together, have a great weekend, and celebrate each other, and like give flowers to people who deserve it. You know, the younger generation, older generation. Like,
We want to invite our friends, that's everybody, and when I talk about our friends, I mean particularly artists that we've worked with, queer artists who are doing fabulous work in queer spaces and in large spaces.
And make it interactive with all of you. One
Yeah.
thing that has been happening across the board since the beginning of our experience together was that everyone would get together and they used to watch the show, and how many friendships were built from bars or people's houses, right? And so we were like, well, let's like create that, let's keep going with the connectivity. So
Yeah.
and we'll be there.
And we're gonna
I mean,
be there,
we're gonna-
and it's like, let's have a good time together. Let's
Yeah.
learn
I could
something.
give a class on how to make a great chart. I feel pretty knowledgeable in that area.
do you remember when we all went to Dinah Shore that one year?
We did.
Oh Lord. I did.
You didn't.
I
You weren't
wasn't
there. We didn't invite you. No, we did. You said no. But talk about how it's going to be different, because there's been lots of history, especially lesbian. I remember in Washington there was Sister Fire, obviously the Michigan Women's Festival, Dinah Shore. Of course, there's Burning Man. How do you look at it as different or the same? You just talked about community. People have lost their sense of community.
And I think
they're
at a
collapsing.
time when there was, I think in 2022, there were 315 pieces of anti-LGBTQ, legislation put forth in the world, right? So community is not only a shield in the storm, but it's a way to learn from one another and to, pass your blessings and your gifts to one another, and to make joy the antidote for hate. And we want to create more joy and more connectivity. And certainly, the show that we made is those discussions. We want to continue those discussions with.
So we'll have
with people.
talks and things
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
talks, dancing. There'll probably be alcohol somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Eileen, talk about who you're also working with.
Oh, well, we have two incredible partners.
Yeah. How to change that? You've each been activists in your own way, even if you may not think of yourself that way. Why don't you start with you, Leisha? How do you look at the current moment we're in?
Oh, Kara.
I'm sorry.
No, for me,
Nice
it's always
pants. Nice pants. Nice pants.
for me, it's always about representation, and I feel like when that dwindles on television and in the movies, and we stop seeing ourselves, for me, that it was deadly when I was growing up. I had nothing. I'm sure many of us can agree that we all had the same experience. For me, it's about keeping us in entertainment, keeping everyone there in positions of power and leads of shows and movies. And I feel like this festival will bring together artists and content creators and writers and producers and dancers and directors and musicians. That's how I see it, and I think that's how you make change. And I know that's not the business part of it, but for me, that's my world, and that's how I always see things changing.
Kate?
I don't know how to follow that up. I mean, you said it all.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Kate.
You're welcome. What was the question again?
How are you looking at the current moment?
I think also local elections are incredibly important. I don't think they're discussed enough. I have a number of friends in LA who, are having experiences with local government because of the schools their children are in, and that is, I think, is equally important as something on the state level. And hopefully we can create and cultivate change with these local elections.
Great.
I'm looking at the current moment in terms of what we can do, And one of the words I've heard often at this summit is power, and our different understandings and different uses of power. Our power is as storytellers, as artists, as people that change hearts and minds by putting our stories out into the world. And more than anything, and I think that the world is starting to recognize the power of storytelling. Government is coming to us to help tell stories. We've been invited, as you all know, to the White House, to various other places to speak about our stories and to help to tell the stories that make a difference in the world. And we have to do that in order to help to turn the tide of hate that's coming at us hard and fast.
And Jennifer, especially, and we do appreciate, I have to say, we had dinner before you went to the White House, but I appreciated you dancing down the halls of the White House, all of you.
It's so fun. You got to bring joy into those spaces. Like, I can't even begin to overstate like how transformative that is. And when we talk about storytelling, you have your individual story, and then there's the communal story, right? So in getting together and sharing your individual stories, there's an exhortation to be better, to let the whole group rise, and that's what's needed at this moment. And in order to do that, you have to remember how much you matter. You matter, and your group matters. And you take that joy and you fuse that.
Speaking of that, I have two last very quick questions. What's kept you guys together the way you are over the years? It's 20 years. It's
shared trauma.
Lots of
shared trauma.
All right, Jennifer, don't be cute with me. I'm taken down.
I'm serious.
What do you think it is? Because it is remarkable. TV shows, they break apart. It doesn't happen like this. It really doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I always feel like it ends before it should. So it's almost like, I feel like we always feel like, oh, but we have more to say, we have more to tell.
Right.
What about you? What do you think?
It always gets cut short. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time someone asked, you guys are still working together? It's like, yeah, we are. But yeah, we're always mid-sentence, and then something happens out of our control, which is now what we're doing. It's independent. We get to...
I've said to many folks that I will be on my deathbed pitching yet another iteration of this story.
Perfect. I'll tell you, even if I get old, it never gets old. When is it and where?
We can't say yet, but because we're really just putting it together, but we are going to, sometime in the next couple of weeks to a month, we'll be announcing it, and we know how to find the folks that I think want to find us.
But we know that it'll be in Big Bear.
No, we're not supposed to say that.
I'm not supposed to say that. I didn't get that memo. Nobody told me that, obviously. We're close, but not that close.
In any case, you guys, I think... Jennifer, you're in a spicy mood today.
Now I'm sitting next to you.
I know, right, yeah, blame me. Don't even start. Let me just say, I think for the whole room, you guys, I think about a lot of different actors, and I know a lot more than I used to, in terms of giving people not just entertainment, but pure joy of watching you guys over the many years. It's a real gift. It's like, it's not priceless. I paid for cable, but
they don't pay us enough.
They don't pay us enough. But it really is a real gift to be able to, even if you stop now, which you shouldn't, it's a real gift to be able to do and keep producing what you're producing. And you're right, you're in mid-sentence, and you should keep going, because It's a gift that you give to lots. This whole room lost their minds just a second ago when they saw you together. It's unique to be this enduring, and you should take a moment and understand the impact you guys have had over the years, and will continue to have. I'm absolutely certain. Again, thank you.
Thank you for saying that.
Everybody,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know what else.
Thank you. I adore you.